how do you start your own quick UV if you want to? I want to go back to the one we built and I'll show you something. So this is the stuff we built for the bike. You see, we build the inner tube ourselves is here. And we build the front with the tires. It's right here. So let's jump into that one. And let's make it height order. To start doing a UV on something like this, I won't just start right now. We have auto UVs and all that stuff. That will just, you know, let a computer crack the brains and try to lay this UV flat for you. But it can do it, but you always will have to think about helping the system or the computer so that it will get a clean and solid or very nice stuff for you. If you give it raw stuff, it will give you something close to rough. It will work hard to eliminate the roughness, but it can't get it perfect for you. But when you give it something good with less rough, it can give you something perfect. That is something important to note too. All right, cool. So if it is me, I will try to take these lines out, and let's come to the edges because it's the lines we want to take out. Okay, it's the lines. So let's start rolling from here. Hold shift. Start rolling slow across all these crazy lines. Okay, now tumble around and look around and see if you get all the metal part. It looks like it's okay. So how do we take these lines out? We already know it's just hitting delete. All right. Delete will give you a dissolve note, right? Okay, cool. Let's do that. Boom. Have a dissolve node and all the crazy lines are gone. That's cool, right? Very cool. So now you can see that there's a room. You see, after we took that out, we can even see there's a room. Like, what I mean? It's not like too congested. See that there's not too much, but back here, all these points are not connected right. All these gaps will not help the system. How do you fix stuff like that? Okay. So now let's get deeper a little bit. Let's get deep. Don't worry, it's a good class, right? And it's almost part to finish. So let's get a little deeper because these are some of the technical aspects you need. All right. So by looking, we can see that there are so many gaps out here. I think we talk about that, but it's coming up to on the UV class. So let's talk about it. Now, how do we get this? We already know that if we bring in a fuse node, okay, tap F for fuse, we can use fuse to join points around closer. All right. Now, look at these gaps here. Okay. You see the gaps between the 3 points here. Look at it very close. When I increase the fuse distance amount because it's working by distance, we want to close them. If I ladder and I slowly close, you see, I didn't even get far. 0.4, and all these points kind of what? They close. But let's look around, see what happened. Some of the points did not close. Okay. So far here, things looking good. Let's look over here. Let's see if that close affected anything over here. Let's turn off fuse. Fuse. See, fuse is affecting how good this area looks. Let's turn on fuse. You see, it's bad because it's closing some of the points we don't want them to close around here. And it's giving us a bad shade around this area. Let's turn it on. Off. It's off now. You see how good it's looking. See? And now on. So we don't want the fuse to affect this area. How do we do that? I know somebody in the class know that. Who can tell me? Good. We have to use a group. We have to tell fuse to only affect certain parts of the system. All right. So let's do that real quick. Let's take our fuse. All right. Let's come back to the object. And now let's go like this. Because we want to select, this is the part we want to close stuff. So let's select all this, come back here, come back to our regular selection. We want to select, what do we want to select? The points, right? So let's come to these points and let's go around here because remember, the fuse work on points, okay? So we are selecting the points we want the fuse to work on, right? So we get these points selected, okay? Now what? When you get the points you need, the stuff you want the action to work on, you group them. You group them, you put them in a box, you separate them, okay? So how do you group them? Very simple. We come to model, right? Under that shelf menu, we have group. And since we have selected these points, if we click on group, it knows that we want to group these stuff and it will bring the group node here for us. Same way we can bring group from the tab menu, all right, or from tap on the viewport. Okay, but let's use the shelf. Okay, so hit group, boom, and we have group. Now, what is the group doing? The group is holding all these points we have selected, right? It's holding all these points we have selected. And now, it's part of the system, but when we need to work on these points and we call the group, it will tell us, hey, this is the points you are looking for. They are here. So take them, do what you want to do with them. All right. So that is what the grouping, which is very important in working in Houdini, is about. All right. We already talked about it, but repetition is helping everybody, right? Cool. So when we come to the properties and we start looking from the top on the group node, we see group name. Because you're going to have a lot of grouping in your project or even under your geometry system, you have to name them. So let's name this group, say G1, like group 1, G1, okay, and hit enter. See, the naming comes under here. See, G1. See, so now these points are related to G1 group. We can group so many points as many as we want. And when we are working, we will reference them or we will call them by the names. By how we name them, by the names, right? Okay, cool. So we have the group. And since the last fuse was messing with us around this area we don't want it to touch, now we should be able to work and not touching this area because we have group. So what do? Let's get out from the system or the grouping, hit outside, deselect everything, zoom out, And now we can bring fuse. So hit tab and F for fuse. Grab fuse, put it down. Okay. Connect it to the system. Boom. Now it still have the same distance problem. So we have to push it a little bit. The points we want to close are a little far. And it's starting with very low, like 0.001. So let's increase it up a little bit. Come down and slowly push it out. Last time it was at 4. Let's leave it like that. Okay. So we see that we are able to close all these gaps around here. All the gaps around here is closed. Even here it's not closed. So we can crank it up without worried about where, about this side, but let's crank it way up and see what's going to happen, because we haven't tell the fuse to use group yet. Listen again, we haven't tell fuse to use group yet, even though it's linked to it. We haven't tell it, okay? Because fuse have a group, but it's empty. There's nothing. We haven't tell it nothing. So let's crank up the fuse and see what's going to happen here. It's going to close all these points around here. Watch. See? You see? See? You see? It's closing the points. All the system points are closing. What's going on? It's getting crazy. Look at what we done. See? That's how powerful the fuse is. So the distance on the points will close because it's working on the distance, and it will close it to until we have what? Let's get crazy. We have nothing. Whoa, it's crazy, right? We have nothing. So 10 distance will it's like a disaster, like a tornado. It wipe everything out. All right. So slowly bring your stuff back. See? You can see that when we say that 3D start with just a point, this is kind of like another proof to it. Okay. If just one point and you are connecting stuff, slowly we have a triangle. See, we are learning. We have few triangles for the bike shape we have. See, so you can start, modeling with just a point, connect more points. That is what we are doing. Let's come back slowly and see what's happening. Very cool. Very cool, right? Very cool. We're getting our stuff back. Very cool. So in no time, it's like visual effect, and you come back to 0.01. But we still have closed it because remember, it wasn't 0.01, it was 0. Control Z. It was 0.01. Enter. It was 2 zeros. That's the default, right? So when we come back here, stuff will still be open. It's like, remember, it's open now. So let's go back to 4. See, this class is getting interesting because we are learning something deeper, right? And now let's flip it and look back here if we are able to close it. So 4 is now closing it. Let's crank it up to say until we see it's closed. Slowly. 1 is closed. 2, we got all. So everything closed. Okay. Now, we got those, but what happened? This distance is affecting our shape, our panel. So how do we tell Fuse that, hey, use those group in the back here, those points we have? Very simple. When you drop down the Fuse group system, there's a drop down here. Look up here. When you drop it down, you see the naming system we gave to our group is here. So you say, hey, take G1 for the group and now leave this side alone. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. But I want to bring it here in the middle. And when I pick the G1, you will see it will bring back our panel for us because it now knows that we don't need to touch over there. So go to the fuse group, call the group name we made, and get it. Boom. Now we get our panel back. And all the close points we want here is still happening. But let's see if we can continue on quick on the UV stuff, right? That I wanted to show you because that's why we end up this way, but it's okay. So we clean the inside a little bit. We are able to close stuff a little bit on the back here, which took us a whole lot of time, but it's worth it, right? So let's get back here. Let's side and side view, right? See, it doesn't have no UVs. You don't see no lines, okay? Let's select this whole thing, okay? So that the UV unwrap knows that we want to use it on everything. We can call it from here. We can call it from here, all right, from the top on the keyboard. But let's call it from the top here, as I've been showing you from here. So hit UV unwrap. See, automatic and fast.